So hello, welcome back to a new video in the series of summer has not started, not even spring, but let's make some videos anyway. I wouldn't call this a technical video as the previous ones. We are really going to a location, but I do want to introduce one of the new features that we have been working on, and some of you have already seen. So I will try in each video in the beginning, the first minute, to explain how to turn it on, hopefully before we make it to the first point of interest. So we added a lot of meta information to the videos, and you can turn them on using the subtitles. So basically I sort of made software to put information into the subtitles. So if you go to your subtitle button in your YouTube and you turn it on, you might get English. But if you look at the settings button, which is the little radar thingy, then little wheel, then you will find that you can set different subtitles, and you will find two of them which sound strange, but they are actually languages that are not used that much, so I've misused it for this. So the first one is called Bodo. So if you go to the subtitle language Bodo and you turn it on, you will get the information. Let's first talk about that one. The information is basically showing you where we are going. So it shows the next interest point. So in this case I've put there the yellow bridge, which is at the moment at about 780 meters. It shows you how high we are compared to sea level, and it shows the bike speed. That's already quite interesting, but more important, the lower line shows you the street names and the city and the location, so the area, the suburb, as best as I can find out based on our satellite information. And yeah, I hope combined with these to give you a better idea of where we are, and to give you hints that if you pause the video and you want to search for especially the lower line, I left that the same is basically is used if you go into maps.google.com. So if you take the first part, so the street name and the postal code, and then you put it in Google Maps, you will find out exactly where we are. I will give you a better hint how to get even better information when we talk about the satellite stuff. But that's kind of the idea. So during our ride we can see where we are going, and in this video I only do a few. So as a test I put a yellow bridge in there, and you can see how long it will take until we are at the yellow bridge. So that's one part. The second part is that in the description, which is normal on your YouTube video, you might have to press the more button. You will find that in the description I've put now chapter information, and you will also find them in the timeline. If you are scrubbing, you can already see where we are going, at what distance that is, so you can sort of see how far we are going and how far we still need to go in a way. But this gives you information again on where we are, and it also adds all the waypoints. So in this case the yellow bridge, which we have now arrived at, will be shown. So again, I think that's already quite interesting, but as a locket, you will also find the URL there by the end, so you can press of course on the time, and then it will jump directly to the video, like you would do in the scrubbing time bar. But you will also find at the end that I've put a link to maps.google.com, so they can jump to that location. In that case you can only jump to the beginnings of the chapters parts. That's why the next trick is sort of important. So you will also find that there are two buttons. One says show all chapters, and the other one says transcription. I personally would not use all chapters, because I think the show transcription is much more interesting. If you press that button, you will see that depending on what interface you're using, so if you're using an iPad it will be slightly different than if you use a computer. And on things like an Apple TV it might even show you less, but if luck is with you, you'll find this transcription button, and you can hit the transcription, and then you get all the information, both the chapter information as sort of book headings, and then all the subtitles listed below. And as we explained before, all the subtitles hold all the information of where we are. And I think this is a really nice sort of way to provide you more information where we are going, how far it still is, etc., etc. And you can use that to navigate through all the videos. So tell me what you think about it. Now, both in the transcriptions tab and in the language button, you can change the language. So in the transcription, you'll find if you change it that, of course, the information we were talking about, like the what's coming up next and the street information, will go away, and it will show you technical information. So the satellite points, which are very handy if we are somewhere in the outside world, let's say in a farm, you can use that to put these two numbers into maps.google.com or another search program, and it will again jump right directly to that point. And we've made some videos, example videos explaining this, and I will put it in the description, but I think it was good to tell you here. And the same with the subtitles. If you change there, of course, then it won't show you the street information but the technical information. So that's kind of, please play around with it while we are getting on this trip. So we are going to Oud-Zuilen, which is an old location just outside of the city. It is still a very small village, and there's a small castle there, which we are going to visit. Slot Zuilen, and some lovely streets, and we are going there by this route, and part of Utrecht is called Zuilen, and it's kind of the part that was taken up by the city before the village was built, probably at some point will totally gobbled up by the city of Utrecht. So we are now again next to the main canal in Utrecht, and we are actually near the power plant, which is on our right side, and of course the canal is on the left, and we see a nice boat sort of going in there. And I remember the name correctly because it was a few hours ago. The boat was called Mary. So and it was quite busy on this road, and this is actually a way in a good example, because there was quite a lot of activity for a Friday afternoon, and it was about 2 hours before it started raining again. It had been raining for a few days, and I was surprised how busy it was. It still looks quite gloomy outside, and we are slowly getting up to an area which is part of the history of this village. It's called the Demka area, or Demka terrain, and the bridge ahead of us is also called the Demka bridge. And why was that important? Maybe you know the name Tata Steel, which is the current name. Part of that factory was over here in the early last century, and it was quite a big sort of steel works, using the canal and using a lot of guest workers from different countries around Europe. Here you can see exactly what I meant, right? It's quite busy, and the bicycles and the cars on the small little bridge have to find their way. And you can see how easy, I would almost say, how that goes, right? And I had to go to quite a tight spot anyway. So the Demka area, which is basically ahead of us, it was a lot of people from all kinds of countries, Poland, Spanish, Italians, and 1950s and 1960s who worked there. It's closed up now, and they're using it for other things. But you can see the bridge and also some of the buildings next to it. It was basically a part of the terrain, and it was quite a big sort of employer for Utrecht. So the area Zuilen was basically, I would say, totally filled up with people working there, but it kind of was. And Zuilen was basically a new part was built to support all these people that had to live there, and the village sort of got extended with a part called Nieuw-Guinea, and that is now part of Utrecht. We are going to Oud-Zuilen. So this was part of the terrain of Demka where we are now sort of driving over. So we are doing a tiny bit of a detour to get out of the city, although it's not that much. If I'm in the neighborhood, I tend to ride to all places that have personal value. So my sister used to live here. She passed away a few years ago. But then it's in a way even nicer to bicycle through the street to see if something has changed, or you see somebody like a neighbor or something. Sort of wave too. And it was only like, I don't know, a few hundred meters of our original course. I think one of the nice things, I'm not sure how we will end up of course, but that we also for myself I end up with videos that I can rewatch later on. So you can see this, basically part of that where the people from the factory lived. School on the right side. I wouldn't say this is typical Utrecht, but I don't know, this it sort of fits the time period, I guess. Although some parts will be renewed, but the street where she lived, we are getting to that now, is probably still the way it was built originally. So Eelickwijk. So this is the streets that she lived. We're actually not detouring that much. Maybe even almost nothing. So we're going through this area and out of the city. But I have always find a strange way to get out of the city, because it's at the end of a bridge, and if you are going fast, especially if you're coming from the other side that we are now doing, you might miss it quite easily. So I would say this is a typical sort of living area of that time. Suburb. No, it's not a suburb. I have to look what the word is. The English word for like. Yeah, he scuffed his Mercedes. He was going way too aggressive. So I hope you're enjoying the information. This is the first time I'm doing it in a way that is not after the fact. So I've kind of have to guess what waypoints I will set. So I can't tell you what the waypoint is now, because I'm still doing the voiceover. So the software basically works on GPS information. So I give it the GPS information and it generates all this info for me, except for the waypoint. So waypoints is what I want to talk about. So what I will do, I will give the satellite points and a small description to the software once I've done the voiceover. And then it will automatically generate new subtitles, and it will tell you the information like, okay, I don't know, 2 kilometers until we are at the fort, or 100 meters until we are at a certain statue or something that of where I want to stop. So if you look at some of the older videos, the night videos, one is called Sunset Utrecht, and Sunrise Utrecht. Another one is called Show and Tell Utrecht, and the ones going to Zuilen all have versions of this system already active. So you can re-watch them and you'll see what I'm talking about with this information. So this is the bridge that we are going up. Clearly we are going up a bridge. Kind of interesting, you see this very steep sort of ways that you can also bike down. But normally you would take the smaller route. But at the end of this one you can get off. He was going really slow. Again, older gentleman. But you might miss this exit, especially on the other side. But you have to go here if you want to go to the Oud-Zuilen. So actually there's a sign here that you can take this really nice inner road to the castle. But we are going to take the long route in a way, in that we are going next to the waterway, the Vecht, which I prefer to show you. And yeah, like I said, it's been raining and you can clearly hear the sound of the tires on the wet surface. But the good news that we are doing this one in the winter, I will definitely do it also in the summer again, is that all the trees lost their green, and as you can see on the helicopter view, then it's quite difficult to see the water in certain areas. In this case, because all the leaves are gone, I guess I'll came to the conclusion that's also in a way nice, because you can see a little bit more through the trees to the water side. You see some of the buildings. So this is a road where cars can also drive, but you can see they don't really make a special room for bicycles. So basically, it's I wouldn't say bicycle only one, because clearly there's also cars, but you kind of have to own the road here, and I definitely will look in my mirror if I'm on a road like this. There are not that many in the surroundings of Utrecht, which are a combination of sometimes faster driving cars and yeah, not that much room. But they made it totally red, which is already a signal to car drivers. And everything will work fine here, but I do tend to look in the mirror a little bit more, just not to be sneaked up by a car. And I think further along, there's also a couple on a bicycle. I think it's here. And what I did, I drive a little bit more in the middle of the road, so that I kind of force the car to not slow down, but to make sure that he's not trying to sneak through us and create a situation. So I did it basically more for the couple riding there, the older couple, than for myself. I doubt if anything would have happened, but sometimes it's good to take away options for other people on the road, right? Because I kind of figure that we will all end up in the same location. So I figured it was best that I sort of rode a little bit more in the middle. Now I go to the side again. So the Vecht is a really nice sort of waterway. It's not like the canal, so it's not. It's a river basically. And you can see that it's of course not following a straight path like you would normally see. So we're already at the village, and in the helicopter view you can see the castle already quite nicely. We won't see it as much when we are biking because it's closed, but I will get off the bicycle and show you a bit around from afar, and then we will try to bicycle around it, but all the fences were closed as I expected. So the castle beginnings was in the 13th century. Most of the buildings still left are from the 15th century. So yeah, it is quite old. So it was first built in the 13th century, and in the 14th and the 15th it was basically redone a few times. And of course, like with all these castles, it's most parts are not the original anymore, or some parts. But in this case, there are quite a few buildings which have been there a really long time. There's a museum there now that you can visit, but like I said, it was closed today. Just a quick look around before we continue again. I still sometimes get my fingers in front of the camera. Hope you don't mind. And we've seen about, if you watch more of my videos, about 6 or 7 now, but maybe I should count them, but there are probably like 20 or 30 different villages, which most of them have forts or a part of the water defense system, or small castles in star-shaped, or in this case not star-shaped, but with a moat around it. Closely hugging or being incorporated into the city of Utrecht over the centuries. So this is actually quite a nice, so I'm trying to see if the other fence is open, which it wasn't, but I figured it was nice to go on this path anyway, because it's kind of nice, water on both sides. There's still quite a few people are walking about. So this is definitely, I wouldn't say you have to be super careful, but if you are younger and you've been drinking and it's dark, you can see how you would end up in the water. And that's also why old Dutch kids not only learn to ride their bike early, but also how to swim. And as part of your testing of your swimming exams, which is mandatory, is that you learn to swim with your clothes on. So if you fall into the water in a canal or in something like this, that you can get yourself out of trouble. Because I could definitely see myself fall into water like this when I was younger. But you can imagine, I think it's already quite nice now, although it was a very rainy day. But you can see how this would be nice in summer time. So I ride for a few minutes and then I turn around. Do that a few times on this trip. So depending on what you are doing, this is the type of roads that you can decide to bike on if you want to in the Netherlands. One feature I'm still looking into for the subtitle project and the description things is to see if I can also somehow connect it to the bicycle network that we have. So of course, for example, we now see the street name here. So the Groene Weg and then the postal code 3611 AT. And we kind of know where we are, and I'm quite happy how far I could get this to work. But as you can already see, we are not near this home anymore, and it still shows this home. So actually I want to see if we can really figure out the street name in a better way, because it turns out to be quite difficult. So now I don't see the home anymore, so I'm just saying where I think we are. This is also why if you really want to visit this location where we are right now, then you can look at the satellite positions I give in the other subtitles to find exactly the position, and then look around, of course. So luckily for this home, for example, it will pick up the postal code again. And we check every 10 seconds or so please show me that. See, it's a bit random. Yeah, there it is. So you can give it in and you get a pretty close position. But if you really want to be precise, you can check the satellite information, which is in the other subtitles, or which is easier if you have the transcription on in the site. Then you can flip there to the AVAR, so from Bodo to AVAR, and you can copy and paste the satellite position into your maps.google.com or Mappery or another system. So thanks for all the feedback you have been providing. Some people ask for some more information, like the compass information, so what our headings are, so we added that, for example. So you see we are biking back the same way because I couldn't make it work, but the good news is you can see in the helicopter view sort of how this castle looks. And again, you can go to Google Maps, and also if I make and I will for this for sure make you should find it in the description, but also in the chapters on the site. You can find the chapter information back, and there you can click it on again to go to maps.google.com, and then I will show the position of the beginning of the map. So we are now entering Oud-Zuilen. Of course the castle is kind of already part of it, but you can see the village up ahead. It's kind of nice. It was a training car, so you have to learn how to drive, of course. And you see that he or she didn't check and give a wave. Gave the headlights that I could go first. So here we're going to make a stop again. Because I think this is a typical sort of small old village that you can find all over the Netherlands. Typical bridges, nice looking homes. I try to move the camera slow, but if you get on and off the bike with the camera on, of course, the movements are a bit faster. I will try to limit it. So here you see one of the entrance to the castle. The bridge was opened by the way, so I could have gone there a little bit further. I figured it was not possible, but I'm now kind of doubtful. So a B&B had a nice sort of sign. But the castle should be closed, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was just open for a second so that he could get in. But we weren't here for giving a tour of the castle. So we're going to use that bridge to get back to our own sort of area. But first we're going to bike around the village a bit more. So we are now in the Dorpstraat, which translated means village street. I don't think maybe somebody can tell me in the comments, but I don't think you have that in America, for example, or even in England, that you have like the village street, which would be the translation of this. But somehow a dorp always seems to have a Dorpstraat. So it would be the same like a small village has like village street number 4. Maybe I'm confused, maybe that is a thing. So you can see the older and the newer homes, sort of semi-new homes, sort of combined. And you can see most of the streets are next to the Vecht. You notice all the streets are red again, but you also see that everybody here has a car. But you can also see that even for the people owning a car, which is basically everybody kind of, you do notice that you really have to go out of the small village. Like in this case here we go from 30 to 60 kilometers. And even then, of course, some people might be going fast with the car here, but it's not normal, especially not in the villages and even in the city. So that also means that the noise level is quite low. So it's next to the water, probably quite a nice place to live. So this is where we're turning around, but in the forefront, and I think I aimed the camera there for a few seconds, is one of the windmills that we visited also in one of the other videos. So we turn around, go back into the village, and continue our travels. So of course accidents happen, and in fact more people are getting killed on bicycles than before. The numbers are going up again for all kinds of reasons. E-bikes, of course, more people, older people using them, more bicycling. It's more complex, but the numbers are going up a little bit. But it's mostly on roads that you saw before, right? It's places where, although most car owners are nice, there's always one that might not be as nice or was watching his phone or whatever, and especially on the types of roads that we were on before, where the speeds are higher, so 60, 70 kilometers an hour, and if they are following the rules, so they might go 70 or 80, then of course it becomes way more dangerous if you're on a bicycle. That doesn't mean that people won't bike in the Netherlands, they will still do it, but yeah, there is sort of built-in risk, and I think on these roads, which we are just on, the 60 kilometer part would be, and also of course you see quite a few corners, that will be tricky, or slightly higher danger level. Get over the little bridge, and we are slowly on this part of Oud-Zuilen. Before we go back through Maarsen, and then I think this is already Maarsen, maybe close, I don't know. But we are going to Maarsen, and then we are going back into Utrecht again. I didn't see a bicycle path, so I'm assuming they have to drive here. And I was thinking about when I was bicycling here, where do I need to go? There's two school kids there. So here it becomes clear again that there's a bicycle path. Now I can get on it again, but on the other side there wasn't, so for that small part I didn't see one, maybe I missed it. But it kind of tells you an interesting feeling that I wouldn't say I felt uncomfortable, but I was like, where do I need to go? And that happens very, very rarely, right? So again, we are biased, and I'm Dutch, and I like my own country. I think it's fair to say that I like my own country best, because otherwise I would have moved. It's not that I don't enjoy other countries. I love to go and travel. I think there's some really nice people and some nice places around the world. But this is the place where I decide. No, I didn't decide to get born here, but I did decide to stay here. And I could have moved, and I would have moved if I really wanted to, but kind of like this. So one of the, before we get off target too much, one of the things which is normal here is that you always get the feeling that you know where to go with the bicycle, and you're never in doubt. And except for the situation where you go like, maybe I missed it. And in most other places it's the other way around. If you're on a bicycle, it is getting better, and I think the good news is things are getting better not all areas in the world, but quite a few areas in the world. If you watch a lot of YouTube videos and are interested in a topic, you will find that. It's good to see. But for me, it's that difference, right? If you are in a place where they do have bicycle paths, then you still sort of go like, okay, what will happen if I get on the end to the end of this road? And that's kind of a feeling you don't get much in the Netherlands. So this is what I meant with it's kind of nice that all the leaves are from the trees, because you can see on the Google view that it's difficult to see where we are at. But now, yeah, you can kind of see a little bit more to the water and stuff. Although with the Amsterdam-Rijn canal, so we are back to the big canal again, it's quite easy to see. Because it's such a massive canal. Canal. Yes, I want to pass. So we are now already clearly in Maassen. And I'm detouring, I'm doing a loop, because otherwise I could have gone back quicker. We are now also on the Amsterdam-Rijn canal. Amsterdam-Straatweg, which is one of the major arteries in the city. So I could have gone the other way and then get home quicker. But I decided to go through Maassen, kind of create a loop. So up ahead, near the bridge, you can see that the lake, so the river and the canal, are coming together, and so they can feed into each other. Not sure if you can see it in the real life. Maybe a tiny bit if you look quickly to your right, you see the river there, and of course the canal on the other side. The helicopter view becomes a little bit more clear. Some of the homes, we talked about it when we were biking next to the Vecht in other areas, are quite nice. So in the really old days, when we were traveling around the world with cargo ships, right, trading, lots of the traders worked in Amsterdam or Utrecht, would actually have their real homes in this area, sort of attached to the Vecht. So the homes are still quite expensive. So my dad used to work here and won the cars in his later years. It won the car places over here for a while. I noticed that I don't have too much to talk about today. I guess I can tell you another things which are upcoming. When doing my research of what is possible, I always find new things in YouTube. Is that they plan in this year to add a feature that we can have multiple languages audio tracks. So if you don't like me talking, most likely when they enable that feature for everybody, including me, then I will also add the original audio track so that you can switch between me talking or me shutting up, and that you only hear the bike audio. I'm pretty sure somebody will ask to add music below it. I don't think I will ever do that. But of course, if you don't hear me talking and you just hear the bicycle sound, you can turn on your own music, which I never understand of these types of questions. Why wouldn't you put your own music under it? So we talked about that I have to pay to generate these files to Google because I need to query some of their databases. The good news is that for the Netherlands at least I now rewrote it, that it can use free databases from the Netherlands. So I don't have to pay for that part anymore. But it still cost me quite a lot of, not quite a lot, it cost me a few euros for each of the videos to make. In not time, but let's say real cost. So the moment that we are able to turn ads on, I will probably do it and hope that I don't upset too many people with it. So just in the beginning probably. Because I am also convinced, looking at my other YouTube channel, that and it kind of makes sense that if you turn ads on, then of course it also becomes more interesting for Google to to give you show your video to people, because then they also make money of it. So it's not really for the money, because I probably make I don't know, €1 per video. That doesn't really help me much, but it will result in more people seeing the video. Because if Google doesn't show you the video, then you can't click on it, and then unless you're searching for it very specifically, you might never find it. I think this is also again a bridge where you can... not this one, I think. No, there's no like two ramp system. There's only one ramp going up. And there is... you can... maybe on the other side. Yeah, you see it on the other side. Look at the helicopter view. You can see that the bridge on the other side has two separate ramps. One for walking, both of them for bicycles. So you can take the slow ramp, which we are using, but if you really want to be near the water, or you feel that you are okay with going on the steep one, you can take that one. You see that more... you see that sometimes. Now on the yellow bridge, it told me to really get off my bike and carry my bike down the normal stairs, which don't make sense, but you can see these are not stairs. These are actually on-ramps. You just have to be more forceful if you want to use them. Still you can see that the sky is a little bit blown out because the sun was behind it. So the camera had quite a lot of trouble recording this. But you can still quite a damp sort of way. I turned up the color a little bit so it looks a little bit more happy than it was in real life. I made a mistake. I should have been on the other side, so now I have to do sort of a loop-the-loop. You can already see that the moped is doing that. I have to do the same. So we are now in Mars, and there are quite a few of tunnels, because there's quite a few roads that they decided to put tunnels below the road. So this is one example. We will use quite a few. And this is a good, if they can do it, they will try to do this as often as they can. And these are already a little bit older. In the newer generations, what they also try to do is to make them very open and very light, so that especially females don't feel too threatened to use them. Which makes sense. Bike made a noise and I was not sure what it was. I didn't hear it, I only heard it in the video. He's going really slow. And he's also weaving over, so I stay behind him on purpose. And he said something to me, maybe he was upset that I was sort of passing him. But I was actually waiting very slowly because he was using the whole sort of... and also his wife, I give her a lot of room when I was passing. It might not look it on the camera. Trust me. Because you can see these are all biking going up way faster than I was. I think the nice thing you can now sort of see the speed, although the speed you should take with a grain of salt. I might work on a little bit more, but because it only can measure every 10 about every 10 seconds when we get the location. But I think it was going like 5 kilometers or maybe 8 kilometers an hour. So on the speed, since I'm using the subtitle trick, which I enjoy, of course, because you can also turn it off. So if you don't like it, you can turn it off by just clicking the subtitle off button, and you only use the transcripts if you want, or use nothing, and only use the scrubbing into the video to get some information. But that is the reason why I can't show this every 2 seconds, which would be normal. Again, more of these small tunnels. Because I only want to send about a subtitle every 10 seconds. We get less of these updates for the speed and the satellite and the street information. I try to make it faster, but it turns out, especially things like the description that we were talking about, they have a limit of 5 kilobytes that I can't, 5,000 characters. I can't blow YouTube in a way. That's not a smart idea. It also started looking really funny in some of the lists. So this seems to be for about an hour to 1 hour, half an hour video. This seems to be the maximum amount of subtitles that I can kind of put in there without confusing YouTube, and also the description would otherwise be too. But I don't think, especially for the way that I'm biking, it's the most important information. I am hoping that you agree with me that providing this information is already quite useful, especially if I use the waypoints and also the satellite information. Again, if you're watching to the subtitles or in the transcription, you go from Bodo to Evar, then in Evar you get the satellite points. And you can copy and paste them from the transcription. Oh, transcript, sorry. Might have said transcription, transcript. Is it really the same word? I think transcript is more correct. In this case. So again, we are now passing the big highway, and we were here a few days ago when we were cycling to Oud-Zuilen, and then I said I could not show you the beach, which was also so ahead of us. We see the man-made lake again, and I told you there was a beach and some summer activity places since we were driving here today, I decided to visit those, so I'll stop there and show you. So we already made it this week to this point, kind of. I think we were like 100 meters to our left or a few hundred meters. Sorry, to our right on that road between the two parts of the lake. And now we'll go straight forward, and we can already see sort of a man-made beach in the helicopter view, and we are going to stop there and show you around. And I want to be a smart ass and ride at this side of the road, not on the assigned bicycle path, but it was getting quite lumpy and lots of water there, so at some point I decide to get back on the bicycle path and then get off again because I want to go on the beach part. Proof that it had been raining, and later it started raining again, but luckily we already got home. So you can already see in the helicopter view quite clearly the beach I was talking about. And also in the helicopter view you can see that DHL is over here. With cars and bicycles, I guess. So normally you would not go in with your bicycle. You see all these wooden structures for that. But since this it's still winter and it was raining quite a lot, there's nobody here anyway. So I figure let's risk it. And you can see on the water how was in a way hidden but also active the sun was today. Strand Post 1. So beach part 1. And they use these containers to make these structures, which I kind of like. Yes, that are my fingers. So the good news now in the helicopter view, it also shows you the beach area and the separated area for kids to swim and stuff like that. I think I told you before that this man-made water, because the area that we normally start from, the new city area, LeidscheRijn, they needed to, or they wanted to put it a few meters higher in most places, to be safe for the climate change, and also for building you need to do that anyway. So all of the Netherlands you find these watering areas, water areas that you are man-made, and they can be quite deep. So the deepest point in this one is 45 meters. So that's about, I don't know, 120 feet, something. Okay, getting on my bike again, hopefully. So I still need to figure out the correct time that I need to stop at the location. And how slow I should move. I'm guessing if I start moving really slow when I'm getting on and off the bike, and there's people around, it will look quite stupid. If you are sort of walking around with a camera, that's fine. But if you are sort of walking and trying to get on your bicycle in a really slow movement, that might look quite weird to people. Okay, back on the trail again. And you see these, what you don't see is any car parking, right? So it's a lot of people over here in summertime, but they all have to either walk here or I'm not sure where you park. You can park your car on the other side, but that's an industry area. I guess some people might do that, but most people will go will come with their bike. That's why you see all the wooden bike points where you can store your bike. Even in this part, and you can see here you can't get to the beach right away, so you can kind of imagine how many bicycles there are. Further on you see more traditional bike parking. And of course in this case you already see bikes here. Because this part is semi-open. I forgot the name of it. I think it's called a beach club something. Maybe we can read it. She was looking at me. What are you doing here with a bike? While she was getting the drinks. Key West. Oh, it's actually called Beach Key West. Of course, if it's nice weather, this is quite busy. But at least you have now seen the beach. Although most of it you will have to look at the helicopter picture. These city beaches are quite popular. Even though going to the real beach is also a good option, but for many people this is very close by. You can go there with your bicycle. It's a good hangout place. I think upcoming there's also interest. There's a dog, which I saw. I always have eyes open for dogs. But the girl on the bicycle was actually already quite far along. So he was sitting here in the corner, in front of the bridge. There it is. Sort of still sniffing around and peeing. Then I did see him, so don't worry about that. I saw him way before. And there she is yelling for him. There he goes. I understand that sometimes in these videos things might look dangerous, but again there was no conflict at all. Again, these times of the year, lots of strong sunlight and weird light, so that's why the picture looks a little bit dark. I could lighten it up, but that also is kind of faking it, so it's kind of what it is these days. I think I go in here for a second because I kind of like this view. There's always people here, especially in the evening, couples just sitting here out looking over the water. And straight in front of us, that's what I wanted to bicycle last week. When we go to the other location, I told you I was not able to do it because it was too muddy. Because there is a small path next to the whole water line, with also some bird spots, bird hideouts, what you call them in English, I guess. Where you can, if you want to take pictures of birds, you can use them. I think they're fixing them up. You have to go into this path, but you can already see it's quite muddy. At some point I should also show you the loop-the-loop bicycle path that you see in the helicopter view to go to the other area over the road, but I never used it. I've used it at some point in my life, but not during these videos, so I'll also do that at some point. So we're now back, if you were not here before, in the park, in the Maximus Park, which is a big park near my home. And we are kind of riding to the edge of it. Some people asked already months ago what the small flowers are about on the road. So every time I see them I figured let's repeat that what I thought back then. These are part of the hint that you're still in the park. So they have no official role, they're just sort of flowers in the middle of the road instead of white dots to signal that this is part of the ring around the park. I could look up if there is another reason for it or if this is even legal. I guess it's legal because it's not really a road, but it is a road, so I don't know. We always kind of end up on these types of roads or in this area specifically because this is part of my daily ride. So this is like an extra ride I'm doing, but normally I would also do like a loop around sort of fixed areas around the city. This is one of them. So. And maybe you can see why, because especially in the summer the views are nice, but it's also nice to bike here. The squares on the kids play areas, hopefully you can still see them, sort of like TV screens. Maybe you've seen them also in other countries. They are not as special, I have no idea, but they are electronically controlled, so you can press on it and you can shoot the ball, your soccer ball there, and you need to hit all the squares. So you can see there's quite a lot of cars around. Then again, it might look that I'm sort of pushing my way through, but nothing is further from the truth. They see you coming. The blue car was kind of doing not what it's supposed to be doing, but the other cars were like, give me a signal to go. I hope you believe me that during this whole trip in the last hour, 10 minutes, it will be 1 hour and 10 minutes something in this video, there was no moment of panic from my side or from any other bicycle, car or whatever. I guess the closest was the one, let me see. Yeah, I guess the closest feeling was a little bit of the road that I was not sure if it was a bicycle path, yes or no. You sort of go like, am I supposed to be here? But that's about it. So it's about Friday 3 o'clock. And you can see that there are already people even after the rain or before the rain. So we continue. We're talking about something with bicycles, so a lot of people already around. And then my hard disk was full, so it stopped recording my screen. So we continue. I was probably mumbling something stupid anyway. I think I was talking about people being outside between the rain, which is a common theme in the Netherlands. I guess I was impressed that there were still people outside. So this is the reason, because it was going to rain again, and I was guessing on when it was going to rain again, that I'm basically taking the faster route in the park home, so I'm not detouring, which I normally would do. Notice that sometimes they already in the road they put these small off ramps going into nowhere for future use, which I always find funny. So this one where I'm bicycling now is attached. Also notice in the helicopter view, I might make it bigger if I don't forget. You can see the small circles which they put there during COVID. To make sure that you have your social distancing, they create these circles so that you can sit there with your friends without sort of breaking the 1.5 meter rules. I thought it was kind of nice. Guess I should check when this picture was made. Again, one of these off ramps that for now goes nowhere. So you can see the sky going darker and darker again. Clearly rain was coming. I could say winter is coming, but winter is already here. So you can see here the off-ramp goes quite far actually. Maybe I should bike down that one at some point. So the white bollard is not a bollard, but it's a water point, so you can get water. I said it before, but the GPS is so confused these days. I have to check if there's some setting or why it became worse. It almost looks like it added more options where you can bike, and then it sort of wants to be smarter than before and says, I think you're over here and not over here. It's not the worst thing in the world. The only downside for me, of course, now with the GPS information being used to pinpoint our location, it might be off a little bit more than I want. You can see it tries to figure out that I'm not riding on the park road anymore, but I'm actually next to the homes, which I'm not. Quick, run home, and start the rain, Boodies. Like I said, quite a few people running. You see that they in Google Maps, so the top view how few homes are here and how quickly they are being built. Actually, I think these 4 homes have been built this year. And I'm making a few over here. They were quite busy. So we are exiting the park again. Going to one of the local breweries called Maximus. Utrecht was founded, was a place in the Roman Empire. So Maximus Beer is kind of a hint to that. Also, as you can see, in front of us is a Roman watchtower, a small one. Of course it's a rebuild, but on the 2 roundabouts in the middle you see some old real Roman structures. To our right is the Maximus Beer Brewery. Small local beer. You can sit outside. Try their beer. We are slowly getting to the end of the video. I was biking fast, and you noticed that before I was going quite a little bit slower. I'm trying to do that when I'm making the videos, that I go like 20-ish instead of 25-ish, but now I'm going a little bit faster again because, like I said, look at the sky. You have to make a gamble, and I was gambling that it was going to rain soon. So we're clearly back in LeidscheRijn. As you can see in the modern building styles. Although this was again old road which was already there. You still might see one or two old homes, but so we are almost going to leave you, so we're going to follow the bus path. So thank you for watching, and hopefully you can give me some feedback on the subtitling system. I will have set a few waypoints so that you can see what our next focus in the video is, so that you can scrub around, and which I found to be quite interesting. So because it's now in the subtitles, and I also put the distance to the next point there, you can actually scrub until we are somewhere. So for example, scrub until you get to the Dom Tower, or scrub until you get to the Yellow Bridge, or in this case most likely scrub until you get to the castle or another waypoint that I've set. I think that's quite a nice feature, so hope you also enjoyed that. So the school in front of us, which is like a high school, well, you can't see the school, but on the left there is a training facility. So the school is for gifted sport students. I guess gifted is maybe not yeah, I guess it is. So that's part of their schooling they can have here, but you can also see there's a lot of extra place for training. Not sure if I talked about that before. At this point I'm already quite happy because I knew that my battery was almost gone from the camera, and I didn't want to switch it while I was biking, but also I felt pretty confident I would make it home without being rained upon. So again, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Hopefully in more spring-like weather. But you never know. Bye bye.